Hey guys, my name is Nibiri and it's time for another kicking of the week. And today I'm gonna show you all you need to know to create a nice gated kick. So the thing with gated kicks is they can be quite weird to make. And the most important thing, in my opinion, about a gated kick is the tail. And the tail is just created in a different way, where we normally would take a 909 and distort that. Now we want to try to take a reverb and maybe play around with the reverb until we get a nice sound for our tail. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this sample over here and we're going to create a tail, and I'm just going to show you the basics on how you can use reverb to create that tail. And after that we're going to switch over to another project and I'll show you how I used a tail sound over there and put some other samples in there to create a full gated kick. So like I said, the gated tail is just something different. You don't want to over distort it, you want to start with a nice reverb. So the thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna edit this sample a little bit, and the thing is we don't really want the punch. The punch is just gonna introduce too much high end into our tail, and that just disables us to apply some distortion, because then it's not going to get crunchy, but it's just going to get resonant. So we're going to put this into a nice mixer channel, and in this mixer channel we're going to put reverb onto our sound. Reverb onto our sound. And the thing with the reverb is just play around with it. Leave the mix on 100% and just play around with the pre-delay, the decay. Just do whatever you like until you have a nice, warm, basic tail sound. So I'm just gonna do that. It's even okay to make a really tiny decay. It's just play around with it. So let's say, for example, that we like this, and it's a really quiet sound, and you might not really hear it if you're even listening on phone speakers, but we're just creating this nice boomy low end, as you can see over here. And while creating this low end, we might want to boost the bass a little bit and only boost the fundamental frequency so that we really get the nice tone out of there, and maybe dip some frequencies if we feel it's needed. Now this might sound weird, but really just the basics of gated kicks is this. Just using a reverb and shaping it in a nice way, maybe putting an EQ in there to make the fundamental frequency a little bit louder, but that's the basics. And now after this we can do lots of different things. We can start playing around with maybe introducing a little bit of that punch again, and probably, as you'll notice, is we're going to create a lot more high end, and that just sounds bad in my opinion, instead of this, where it's just a lot warmer. You can try to do that. You can maybe put distortion after this, so we're going to create a real crunchy sound. Let's just go over the top with this. Now the thing with this is that it might in the beginning sound like a way too overly crunchy sound, but as you apply some different effects on there, you can just sample this. And then once that sound fades out, you can just take the sample and maybe only use this part. So you're getting a little bit of a crunchy sound, but it isn't as crunchy as the beginning over here. So it's really just a matter of using your creativity. Once you got your nice reverb, just do whatever you want until you get a nice sound and a texture that you like. So now we're in this project where I created this full gated kick, and the gated kick sounds like this. And in my opinion, it sounds nice because honestly, this was one of the first attempts I did at creating a gated kick in the way that I just showed you. So let's just take away all the effects and start at the bare beginnings again. And like I said, that basic of a gated kick is just having a nice kick sample. And well, I was just still learning, so I didn't take away the punch. And I put this in a mixer channel. And in this mixer channel, I played around with Valhalla Room. And in this Valhalla Room, I chose to have quite a small decay and just these settings. I just played around with them and I got this sound. Let me show you. So it's quite a short reverb. Then after that, I applied a little bit of an EQ. And this EQ just dips a little bit of the bass, but keeps the sound a little bit warmer. Probably I felt like I needed it. And after that, I applied a distortion. And this distortion is quite harsh, as you can see. And it creates a really, really crunchy sound. And it's an important thing that you don't listen to the full sound yet. You just want to use a tiny part of that reverb sound to use as a tail. Because right now it sounds a little bit rubbish as a full sound. Then after that, I cut the side and boosted the lows again, because, well, I took them away over here and then I needed to put them back in there. So after exporting that, we got this waveform. And now the thing is, just listen which part of that little waveform you like. And as you can see over here, it's kind of this bit of the waveform that I really like to create a nice tilt. So having that sample and cutting out that tiny part that you want to use, just loop it and see if you like the tail sound. After that, I boosted a little bit of the lows and the rest is just on the complete kick. So right now we got this tail done. And after I had this tail, I felt I needed a punch, of course. And this punch, I created it in Serum. And since it's not really a part of the process of creating a gated kick, I'm just not really gonna focus on it that much. It's just opening Serum and starting playing around in Serum till you get a nice punch. If you're unsure how to create punches in Serum, just watch some of my older videos, because I've showed it plenty of times in there. Then after having this punch sound, I added a new club kick under here. And this club kick is just there to reinforce that body of the punch that we're having over here. It just makes it a lot more beefy. And we routed these two sounds into one bus. And on this little bus, I start EQing this, boosting a little bit of that resonant frequency, and just applying some distortion so it gets a little bit more tied together. And then at the end, I just balance it down just a little bit with some EQ. That's actually all for our punch. And after we created this punch, I just routed this to my reverb channel. And this reverb channel is just my generic reverb channel that I always have for my whole tracks as well. And we create this tail sound. This tail sound would originally sound like this. And then once you sample that reverb hit, you can just put it underneath your punch and just make a nice automation clip so that it moves a little bit. And, well, it sounds for this kick, it sounds like this. So after I've created this reverb hit and it sounds nice with my punch, I'm turning the original tail back on, and we're just gonna listen to this reverb together with the old tail that I created. And we're gonna route this to a bus in the end. But well, let's just listen to the sound first. You might want to play around with this a tiny bit, scroll through the waveform so that it sounds differently, but just play around with it. Now, routing those two sounds to a bus, I applied an EQ, and this EQ just boosts the warmth a little bit. And after that, I just distorted it. And this distortion isn't too harsh, but it just creates a nice, little bit more unified feeling for these two reverby sounds. So we're going from this to this. So now that we have our nice tail done and we got our punch done, we turn back the punch again and it sounds like this. And all that you need to do after that is just turning on a limiter and just limiting the sample. And that's all that I did to create this gated kick. Now I hope this video just showed you the basics of how you can create a gated kick, and now you just might know a little bit better where you can just be creative to create some different sounds. I hope you liked this video and you learned something from this, and hopefully I'll see you back soon again. Cheers!